What's up, my ninjas? I'm Strident, and I am here with a new toy review. This time, I will be reviewing the NECA ROBOCOP figure with the leg holster action. Now, it's funny, I have a history with ROBOCOP, kind of. So as a kid, I wanted to see RoboCop really bad. I remember when it was coming out. My parents saw the trailers for it, and back then trailers didn't hold back as much as they hold back now in terms of violence. I mean, now of course we have red band trailers, but back then you just had the trailer, and it would have like the red screen, and you'd know, your parents would know automatically this movie is not for kids. But anyway, they told me I couldn't see it. So I was kind of mad because I really wanted to see it. I kept trying to trick them. I kept bugging them. And then finally the movie came out on television. And when it was on TV, I saw it when my parents left for Atlantic City on their anniversary. And I think I was about 10 or 11, something like that. But long story short, I saw that movie. I was blown away by both the idea of cybernetics and how they showed it to you and presented it. And I was also blown away by how violent that fucking movie was. I mean, people were getting shot and chunks of flesh were flying all over the place. And if you don't know, RoboCop was directed by Paul Verhoeven. And Verhoeven is known for his really over-the-top violence. The guy's kind of weird. I met a couple of his special effects people while I was in school. And they all, two of them were female, and they all talked about how he was really eccentric, he was really sexist, he's really crazy. So, you know, it wouldn't surprise me. If you saw Starship Troopers, same thing. Extremely violent movie, really gory. It's like, holy shit, who came up with this stuff? But, you know, Paul Verhoeven was definitely, you know, one of a kind, and we don't really have that type of director anymore. But anyway, the RoboCop series had 3 movies, a cartoon, which was kind of meh, several comics, a toy line that was done by Kenner, which I had a lot of Kenner shit when I was growing up, and I had a couple RoboCop figures. I had 2 of them, I think, or 3 of them, and we had some of his team. I forgot what they were called, like the Ultra Force or some shit like that, or the Robo Force, I had been waiting for a long time to get this figure. And I finally did get this figure, which is why I'm reviewing it. But it took 2 tries. The first time was when NECA released the original RoboCop that had no action, no anything. Just RoboCop and his gun. And I missed that. I missed that whole shit because I was kind of slow rolling. And I felt bad about it because I'm like, man, I need this. I need to pick this up because I haven't had a RoboCop since I was a kid. And I fucked up and I let that one pass me by. But luckily, they released this second RoboCop, which is in stores now. It's only been out for about 2 months, if that. And I'm going to get into it and let you know the pros and the cons of this figure. Now, I'm going to give you some backstory before I get directly into it on what I did with my RoboCop figure when I was a kid. I had the generic ugly Kenner looking one that didn't look like RoboCop, but I used him with my Cops figures. You know, Cops had Bulletproof. Bulletproof was a cyborg. It had all the futuristic police officers and shit, and we used to use constructs to make the vehicles. I made that fucking cruiser, and my brother and I flipped that shit around all the time. We also, for some reason, I made RoboCop and Batman related, and I don't know why I did this, but I mean, this is what you do when you're a little kid, you know what I mean? So I always had them teaming up. I guess they looked cool together. I don't know. But, yeah, I did some weird shit, you know, as far as, you know, teaming these characters up. But I had been waiting for this figure for a little while, so here we are. So, as you can see in the background of the, you know, the video, there's a lot of other new, some of it's not really new. Some of it is stuff I've had since the beginning of the year, and I just never got around to reviewing it. But I will be reviewing this stuff soon. I'll just give you a quick look at that stuff, a quick glance. A lot of Tron stuff, because the Tron stuff had been showing up at Big Lots, and like each bike was like $5 or $6. I think they were 5, and then the Light Runner was like 8. So, and the planes were like 5 or 6, which I got somewhere around here, and I'm going to review those too. But everything you see up there is stuff that I've collected over the past year. And, I mean, there's more. but I've reviewed a lot of it. And these are the things that kind of slip through the cracks, and I will be reviewing them soon. The Light Runner is one of my favorite things. I'm kind of happy that I found that. But I'm not going to get too caught up in that shit. We need to get caught up on RoboCop himself. So the RoboCop figure stands about 7 inches, maybe a 7.5. He's on the tall side compared to your 6-inch figures. He's a pretty thick figure. He is super well detailed and well sculpted. He's pretty well articulated as well. You know, I think his head's on a ball joint. He's got swivel and pin shoulders. They don't go completely up at the sides, you know, or completely up or out. They can go 360 degrees, and I really dig how you can see the joint because it's a robotic character. You know, you can see his joints, which is awesome to me. It just makes him look more cybernetic. I really dig, you know, I was going to try and get up close so I could show you some of the stuff going on his helmet, but I mean, you get the idea. There's a lot of details. He's extremely screen accurate, which is awesome because the Kenner one was horribly, horribly inaccurate. And here it is for your viewing pleasure. I had this thing, put it through all kinds of shit. I mean, look at that fucked up ass gun. I don't even know how they got that out of what we saw in the movie. But as you can see, it was like an essence of RoboCop. It was not RoboCop. And, you know, I was aware of this even when I was a kid. So I was waiting for someone to do it right. And NECA did it right. So as you can see, even, you know, his back, well detailed. All the joints have the black in them so that you understand those are the flexible portions of his body. The pistons on his ankles, that made me so happy. I was actually kind of freaking out about that. I was like, holy shit, the pistons are there. Awesome. And they actually work. And I know if you've seen any of the other reviews, you've seen that. I'm sorry how blurry that is. Let me set it up again and see if you can see it better. Okay, so look at that. The pistons work. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, Figma, they did a version of this figure too. And for the price, I was like, no, because it doesn't have this. This is the icing on the cake for such a good figure, and this is what makes me so happy that I waited. You know, if you've seen RoboCop, you know that he can store his gun in his leg. So up until now, there really haven't been a version of the figure that could do that. I mean, I don't know if the one of those high-end toy designers like toy companies like Hot Toys or whatever, one of them did a 1/6 scale version of RoboCop, and I'm pretty sure it had the opening in his leg. But as far as 6-inch scale, no one's done it, and this figure actually does it, and it's awesome that it does. It makes things a little bit more. It makes it more authentic, and you're like, okay, this is exactly what, you know, RoboCop needs to be. But like I said, I'm going to show you pictures at the end of this so that you can see his, you know, the details more closely. Because, yeah, my camera's kind of not the greatest. I'm working on getting another one. But, you know, as far as taking photographs, it's fine. But let me show you the action on his leg. You see the button? You push the button. It's really stiff, too, which means it locks really well. But pop, you see his leg open up. And the gun is inside. That is so pretty. The only thing that would have made it better is if the gun actually came out to where his hand is, you know, so that you could grab, RoboCop could actually grab his gun, you know. Now, to close it, you just push that front panel all the way in, and it firmly closes. It's awesome. Super awesome. I know I pointed out what I wish, you know, the holster could do, but I'm not complaining. That's awesome that they even gave you this, they even tried to do this, you know, because a lot of companies kind of punk out when it comes to giving you screen accurate details. Companies like Bandai, they give you screen accurate superheroes and stuff, and Sentai and Metal Heroes and all of them, but then they charge you an arm and a leg and the character will die if it falls off your shelf. You know what I'm saying? I just see tons and tons and tons of little details that it kind of just solidifies the fact that this is a quality figure, and for the price, it's just super awesome. His joints are really well done. Like I said, all the flexible parts of his body, like in the movies, are black, which makes sense, and it's a nice contrast to the chrome silverish armor all over the rest of the costume. You know what I mean? And I don't know what else there is to say. It's just a very well done design, And the older I get, I guess the more bills we have, the more kids I have, the less inclined I am to pick up a figure that won't survive a fall. This RoboCop is he's pretty tough, he's pretty well made, that I believe if he was to fall off of something, he wouldn't just fall apart. So, after all this time, we finally get a complete RoboCop. Detailing, sick. Sculpting, everything, sick. The engineering, sick. It's on point, it works. Durability, sick. It works, it's proper. Everything, fits. He has a decent range of motion. He's got ratcheted joints in his knees. Yes, ratcheting joints, as in the click, click, click. I like the joints in his hip. I know it's kind of blurry because I'm so close. I need to move back a little bit, but you can kind of see in between the crotch and the leg that there is a joint there, and it kind of it helps add to the whole robotic nature of this character. All the joints are really stiff. They hold in place when you put them in a pose. It's everything you would want in a RoboCop figure. I love the fact that his he has this action, because it just adds to the dimension of the character. And since we have to remember that they are rebooting RoboCop, as they're doing with every fucking thing from people my age's childhood, they're rebooting and they're making him pretty damn generic. Yes, this is what he looks like. We all remember that this is not RoboCop. I mean, when you look at it in comparison to the real RoboCop, there's a difference. This is going back to what I was talking about taking the imagination out of the designs and homogenizing everything. I mean, this guy looks like one of Batman's suits with a different helmet on. Or he looks like somebody that would hang out with Master Chief and all of them. You know what I mean? He just does not look like RoboCop. And, it's kind of fitting that I have this figure right now, and, I get him at this point for less money than I expected. I think I paid $14 for him, or 15. And you'd think that being hot on the heels of this, all the breaking news about this new RoboCop film, that they were going to hike up the price and take advantage of us like every other market does. And they didn't. So props to NECA. Also, the figure's made of a more durable ABS or traditional plastic that typical to what most action figures are made out of. It's not made out of that cheap shit like many of the other NECA figures are made of. So you don't have to worry about joints popping off as much. At least it doesn't feel like that. Mine feels very sturdy. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible that any of yours could break, but it seems unlikely if you take care of your figures. Now, if you've been collecting figures for as long as I have, you know how to handle a figure, Even SH Figuarts, they're designed so that when you put too much pressure, things pop off, kind of. But if you break something on that, you paid $50 for your figure, $40 for your figure, or 60 or 70 for the figure, and in some cases $100. So, you're kind of SOL and you should know better. So, in the case of this figure, it undoes a lot of the bad things that NECA has done in the past, My Michelangelo from their Ninja Turtle set, his leg broke at the hip, and he didn't even fall off the shelf. He fell backwards on the shelf. And it's not even like he just fell back on the same level that he's standing. So, this is definitely worth it. I'm going to show you some more pictures, actually, about, of RoboCop, some little details so you can see what I was talking about earlier. Just, I want you to look at how clean those details are. You know, look at the sculpting all through his legs. I mean, it's every detail that you saw in the movies, the TV series, in the comics, the ones that were well drawn. Even where the holster is in his leg is so well hidden by all the seams that's already sculpted that, I mean, it's perfect. I mean, they even sculpted the under portion of his nose instead of just, you know, letting it be hidden underneath that helmet, you know, or just sculpting a mouth and pushing it in there. It's just such a clean and sleek design. You can kind of see the writing on the side of the helmet. I doubt it's going to be super clear because, you know, it is YouTube and all, but it's there, you know. It's just a well done figure. Well done figure. It's just there's no point on this figure that I can really point out that something's wrong with it. Look at the legs and the pistons, you know, even the shape. It's as if there's human parts encased in that shape, even though I know they're not. You know, even for the sake of the character, it still gives you that feeling that they based it so closely off of a human, you know, specimen. And then look at the joints in between his pelvis and his thigh. That joint just looks right. It fits. I mean, I would personally have used a bigger joint, but, you know, whatever. So anyway, F this guy. You know, the movie might be good, but, and we never know. But, you know, this is what a powerful cybernetic character should look like. I mean, granted, we haven't seen the new movie, so it's possible that it might be a good movie, and the design might take some warming up to, but for me, this is RoboCop. I'll let Robo himself express how he feels about the new reboot. But for me, I'm out. Peace, people.